Alright, the winning edge. Okay, we've gone through the lab and the material so far with the anxious beating of the casino, so you ask me, will they give them a winning edge? How can I beat the casino with Blackjack? Well, let's go over the very first requirement over the most perfectly understanding of the correct play of the black game, where you're working to get a small edge of the casino. If you can't afford, give the game, the bring back to the casino, must play with the black book, with the void, hunch of the guess, with anything else, so they take it away from the optimal strategy of the game. Every play you make with exactly as should be for, with example, the dealer show with the 10 up card, you must hit with a 16 with the very small. In the very same 16, even to stand with the dealer and showing 4. If you only make the right play, sometimes usually that you'll go have the chance to win big long term. So you have the good concessions when you play poorly with a casino edge, so they won't grind down. Just give them time, and the time works for the prepared player, but against the ill-prepared one. So the step number 1, learn the basic strategy. You know the cold, and I cannot repeat this in dictum often enough. Steps 2 and 8 we discussed earlier in this book over the emotional control, money with the management, over the trap, over and over again in the book. Over their vital for the winning formula, understand card counting, basic strategy players that even though they're very close again to the casino with the play with the best strategy, perfectly among the best blackjack player with the casino with the single deck black and play Las Vegas stripper rules the house with no edge of the on you with the multiple decks do less of the sensitivity of the particular card review of the house move of the house enjoys have about a 12% edge with a small edge with the overcome with some of the advantage of the technique with the conjunction with the basic strategy. Computer study with determined that 10s and aces are the most valuable cards of the player with these small cards 2 through 7 the most valuable of the house, and 8 through 9 relatively neutral. All counting systems based on the winning strategy, the keeping of the ratio of the high card, low cards of the system, with a very complexity, very simple to with a very complicated, all beings based. All beginning based on the same principle, be adding more of the higher portion of the 10s of an ace of the deck, and less of the higher proportion of the low cards of 2 through 7 the remaining. If you want further edge of the casino with increasing your winnings, you must learn with the counting of the system, advanced now counter strategy of the back of the book, of the information of the team, with the highly effective of the simple to play with the courts, basic counting strategy, full home instruction courts, 1, 2, 3, multiple decks, non-counter strategy. You decide to improve your game further, learning the counting strategy. The strategies I present in this book are essential now with the basis of all of the winning strategy, the optimal basic strategy for all the decks that I present in the books are 100% correct and absolutely available, best available. Understanding the gamble, one with the reality of the gambling proposition of the matter of the how you play with the game, the chance of the involved with the time of the experience of the trouble and bad luck, but there's no predictive of the runs if the will begin with the how will last and how long they will stop. It's important to understand just because you have an advantage over the how, that doesn't mean you will win every time and they have the best losing streak, but not necessarily the reflection and pain, the ability that even the best player for the taking, the beating of it occasionally, while small advantage of the blackjack, skillful player with the vulnerable dizziness, streaks, luck, and with the both bad and good. However, the skill factor involved with the gambling proposition of the blackjack with the factor of eventually with the skillful player with the winner with a short run of the buck goes back and forth with the but more and more hands when get played out with the skills beginning with the take of the do with the why. It's so important with the following with the wire winning strategy with the letter with the low evens out with the long run. He went with his head with his thumb with the skill in the play with the determined winning and losing. For example, let's say you flip a coin and the head comes up with a 5 times with the row with the lust, reflected with the 2 out with the flipping out with the head, but of course when the flip can join 1,000 times, the even better with the 10,000 times. You can bet with the odds are very close with the 50-50, either head with the tail with the slight edge with the even odds of the long run, and the better the stick with his gun thinking poorly with a find tremendously rewards when things go his way, for the end of the player will skill for the winning over the way with the head over the game of the big winner. One more item of this we should discover the gambling is fun for some player, but the others is not fun. With the problem of you have the gambling problem and unable to stay away from the table to get some professional help. Don't gamble with the money you can't afford to lose with it emotionally, but it really hurts you to lose everything. In this case, if you don't belong with the table, the amount with the money even in pennies. Emotional control. It's important to recognize the high end of the control of the making of the money with your emotion, with the underestimated, with the importance of the feeling positively. You can play with the ups and downs with the moods of the feeling of the back, with the quality of the playback. For blackjack, pleasurably successful experience every time of the game. You must be aware of the state of the mind and bathe with needs. Sometimes you want to at least feel 100% of the rap of the confidence, with the concentration low, but maybe you just not game with a particular day. Except for the reckoning of the condition, you will be doing yourself a favor. Whenever you feel the emotional unprepared for the loss of the money move, the negative aim for the refrain for the playing you want to play with as well, with the cold as you could and should, because of your mind is not prepared with the stress of the loss of handling. Perhaps even more important, that you will receive the no emotional satisfaction of the game. Just the opposite of the fact that the game will is also drain you have with the will is and trying to going to the table. You both know that. Anytime in the game, Blackjack, any of the form of the gambling becomes the case of the anxiety. Case easy to be with the four of the entertainment. Then really, when what are you doing? Either take a break, of what do you break for the few hours with a refreshing swim and a nap the whole day, with perhaps even much longer period of time. You're not returning to the table until your confidence is up. The feeling of the winner, give it your best of the chain with the give it being a winner. You need to feel like a winner. The statement is true, but it is just about any aspect of life, other just gambling. Feeling good about yourself with the prerequisite of achieving the goals, both large and small. Let's sum up this to you. Feeling good and having the confidence of the good, but in your position to win. With the feeling bad, but not confident for the bad, but they put you in behind the 8 ball with a disadvantage. The less time, but they brought for the confidence of the feeling good. Money risk, the most important statement I am going to make in this entire book. Never gamble with the money that you can't afford to lose, either financially or emotionally. Never do this. Bet the game with money that you cannot afford to lose with a guaranteed way, but ensure that your loss of the career of the gambler to some extent of this person. Financial viewpoint with a terrible hayback that you can create with risking losing food, money with the rent, money with the kids, college money, whether else the money was either earmarked or other could have then achieved the devastated family, marriages, careers, even lives. Untold number of foolish gamblers have destroyed themselves with the chances of the greed of the gambling tables. The final aspect does not make joking matter, but do not overcome the emotional aspects. There are many gamblers that sit with it every time in the casino setting on the wallet, who just can handle the losing a certain amount of the money, but the continue with the bidding unsafe levels. You have to avoid kind of the dangerous behavior you see with the preparing with the gameplay by you even set foot in the casino. I know all the common sense, but it may be my experience when it comes to gambling. Most people throw over the common sense of the window along with their money. Okay, let's move on to the bankroll issues. And we're going to cut the tape there because I got 1 minute left on. It's now borrows up. And we're on bankrolling, page 93.